Hey everybody, welcome to the Agent Ignite. So today I want to talk about something that is very, very important for life insurance agents and financial advisors. And the fact is, I noticed a lot of problems when it comes to content. If we know that content is the cornerstone around which everything is built, because this is what gives you exposure that allow you to build bonds with your audience, and in the same time helps you make those call to actions and generate those leads by getting people to raise their hands. It is important that we know how to craft those content to start with. So today I want to hone in on a an angle that is not always talked about. So I want you to be patient with me and to just give me the time to express how things are, and then we can go for demo later on when we are about to close. But this session will be really, really instrumental. If you have never done marketing before, this session will be really important. So please be patient with me as I'm going to use my document so I can uh, get a resource from it so I can support me. So the idea of what we are trying to do here is we are trying to solve the everlasting issue of how to make our content more impactful. That's a big deal. And that's not something that it's done by just being more uh, a better copywriter or being more uh, uh, intuitive about what is it that you need to talk about. No, it comes with the right understanding of who is your dream customer at a first step. And once we understand this as a core uh, issue, then the rest will unfold on its own. So to help make my point, I'm going to speak about a persona that I created called Marcus. So let me read for you who is Marcus, and so we can go from there. Marcus is a 34-year-old man who works for corporate. He lives in Boston. He commutes daily for 30 days, no, 30, for 30 minutes back and forth to work. He makes around $80,000 a year. He has two kids. After graduating college, he's been grinding for the last 10 years, moving from one job to another. Today, he has the coverage through his current job. So far, this has been the best position he's ever had, but he can't just sit and not think of what ifs. If he knows if he ever get fired or move to another opportunity, he will be putting his family at risk because nothing is certain. So here's the thing, when I write content this way, I'm not writing to everybody. When I put before I write content a picture of who I want to write to, I am not writing to everybody and anybody. I'm writing for an exact character called Marcus. Now, every hook I write, I ask myself, would Marcus stop scrolling for this? Every truth bomb I drop, would Marcus feel like I'm reading this, I'm reading his mind? And every call to action I write, would Marcus raises his hand and say, hey, I'm interested? When the answer is a resounding yes, the content lands and can have an impact. And before we move on, it's important to frame what we are trying to do in the first place. There's a quote that was a famous quote by Eugene Schwartz, one of the 20th century godfathers of marketing. And he says something very interesting. He says, the sophistication of a market determines how you speak to it. What this means is that if we know that Marcus has a problem, and if we know that Marcus feels the precarity of jobs out there, in the same time, he doesn't know that uh, if it's worth it to go and buy a second life insurance, or even he's not even aware that there is a possibility of buying one. This means the content I need to write for Marcus so that he can respond and get his attention starts with validating the problem in the first place. So this is very, very important, because if we don't know exactly who we are trying to speak to, and that's why I keep coming back to the same issue, But today I would like to go deeper. If we don't know who we are trying to go and speak to, our message will remain just on the surface level. It just touching that surface. And when you touch the surface, nothing happens. It just stays there. People won't feel compelled to react or to even share their thoughts. So let me give you an example to so you can make up your mind. Here are the 5 tips to cover your loved ones. Imagine if you read this and you are in the place of Marcus. What would be your first instinct? Probably you'll think that, well, I already have a coverage with my company. I have been with them for the last 3 years. I have seen myself growing with them, so there is no need out there for me to go and purchase or acquire a second life insurance or to do some investigations in that regard. But if you feel you are underinsured or you keep jumping between jobs and you feel you need something reliable on the side, you may want to consider checking this out. Now, if I add this, if I come up and say, if you've been working for the last 10 years and you've been jumping from one job to another and you are building your career as you go while you have kids at home that needs protection, then making sure to have a second life insurance will definitely make sense. And you can see how we are how it's powerful, the messaging that we are putting now versus if you are just here check 5 tips on how to cover your family. There is no comparison whatsoever. And there's no comparison because what we're doing here in the second scenario is that we are speaking to a specific avatar with a specific pain and a specific situation. So the person that reading that, it can be confused. There is no confusions out there. He knows exactly that you are talking to him, and by doing so, you are getting his attention. You are getting to be trusted because that's something that uh, uh, require trust and respect from Marcus, because you are speaking to me, you are addressing my issue, and you are making me pay attention to something that I didn't know it exists. So you are definitely you deserve my respect and my trust. And this gives us a complete dynamic into transforming the conversation from a completely a sales pitch into a consultancy pitch, into consultancy talk. And this is why most agents, most life insurance agents fail, because most of their pitches is strictly salesy. There is no consultation. There is no what's good for me. It's all about the agent, him or herself. And when you lead with yourself, you get, of course, nothing. So this is very, very important that we understand. And once we are able to identify the ideal customer, who is Marcus, what's their income, experience, platform, that this is what we need to understand when we are tackling life. We are tackling an ideal customer profile. We need to ask the following questions: who Marcus is, what is his income, what is his experience, where does he go to socialize? That's very important. What is his feeling? Frustrated, invisible, confused. The exact language he uses to describe his situation. What he's already tried and why he failed. What he wants and what he's willing to do to get it. Once this kind of investigation is built, every piece of content you can deliver is certain that it will land and will have an impact. Now, if we want to move the conversation from just you as the person who is going to deliver all this information and automate it and use AI to help you do that, then Agent Ignite has already everything built inside of it, so it can serve you the best way possible by asking you the right questions. Because once you start delivering this kind of content, Asian Ignite won't do that unless he will get all the information about who is your ideal customer, what does he do, where he's located, answer all this income, experience, platform, what his frustrations, what he's confused about, the language he uses, all these questions, they will be asked. And the only thing you need to do is to fill this information and make sure that you gave him everything uh, that he needs for. So every leading with value, not only you will be able to impact your relationship with Marcus, but every single other person who happens to be in the same shoes as Marcus will say, "Gosh, this was written for me. This is the magic what we are looking for to infuse in our content. This is why the ideal customer profile matters, and this is why we need to actually be more to put more effort into our marketing. It doesn't really matter if you know who you are, you want to sell to. You want to make sure that you are putting enough effort so that the reader on the other end really feels as if he's been recognized. And here to make sure that I just want to give you an example, just to make sure that I am giving you enough information, let me just share with you my screen so that you can see how these things works. So this is a awesome. This is something I asked Agent Ignite, and I told him, "Hey, Agent Ignite, why most agents will never hit the 100K?" And I told him, I gave him just this prompt, and I told him, "Can you write for me a post that can help me speak to my dream customer in a very comprehensive and in a deeper way?" And look what he gave me. Let me read you the text so you can get an idea. So first it talks about the core idea of what is it that we are going to talk about. Then he says this is a belief shifting post, and then he proceeded to give me the post. So here's the post: most life insurance agent will never hit 100K, not because they lack talent, not because they are lazy, and not because the market is oversaturated. You see, the ones suffering in silence are the most are often the ones working the hardest, dialing every morning, following up religiously, showing up to every event, and still falling in the same bracket every year is, here he's missing something. So here's the thing: the ceiling is not your effort, it's your model. Most agents running an activity based business, not a system based one. They are betting that volume get them there. It won't, because there is a point where you simply cannot add more calls, more meetings, or more referrals to the week. You have physically run out of time. And yet, the income has not moved. The Asian who break through are not more talented, they are running completely different game. One where prospects are already warm before their first call, one where the platform does the qualifying, so the conversation is formality, not a pitch. Most Asians don't have a sales problem, they have a marketing problem. And until that shifts, the ceiling stays. It's is that landing somewhere for you? Drop a comment. I read everyone. And so he gave me a complete, I need to make maybe few uh, touches here and there, but he gave me a complete sorry, he gave me a complete piece of content that I can just copy and paste in less than maybe 2 minutes or less than a minute. And this is what shows how powerful we need to approach our marketing. We can't approach our marketing by just speaking to the masses. Uh, there are so much noise out there. There are so much. Uh, Everybody is beating their drums, and everybody is already doing what they think they should do. And if you don't approach business and your marketing from a different perspective, it probably won't go anywhere because there are bigger players that are beating the beating the drums harder and getting more attention. And your job as a solo entrepreneur is to craft for yourself a small piece of the market and start building and building and building until it goes to a point where you become a, a brand and an entity. And that point, it's so much easier for people to come to you rather than you go into them. All right, so I will stop right here. If you guys have any questions, please put them below. If you want to add Agent Ignites to use it, this is only one element of the so many elements we have. I think 29 by now because I just uh, uh, worked on it yesterday and did few new addition in it. So if you are interested, please make sure to find the link below so you can join us. Get it while it's still in the launch phase because it's only $100 right now, and you can benefit for as much as there are a ton of bonuses. So I will link the sales page, the link for the payment, so you can get it right now as we speak, so you don't lose your place. Have a good day, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.